Well, hello, my name is Christopher Scott and I am a small groups pastor of a local church. And in this video, I'm going to give you some material on how to lead a small group using the Spiritual Simplicity DVD study and study guide by Chip Ingram and Living on the Edge Ministry. So in this video, I'm going to cover three areas. I'm going to talk to you about how you as a facilitator prepare yourself to facilitate a discussion. I'm going to talk to you about how to format your small group, what are the sections you should have in your small group, and then I'm going to give you a quick review of this material, who it's good for, the passages covered, things like that. So let's get started. So you are a facilitator. You're going to be facilitating a small group each week. There's two different things you're going to want to do to prepare. You're going to want to prepare about a month in advance, a few things, and then each week you're going to want to do a few things. So let's start with what you want to do about a month in advance, or as soon as you get the study materials from your small groups pastor. The first thing you do, you're going to probably get a box of a DVD studies and some study guides and other materials. When you get that box, you want to first open up the DVDs and pop them in your DVD player and make sure first that they work, okay? Because we've had people that pop them in and then it just doesn't work for some reason. Thankfully, the people tested them out a month or two in advance, so they knew, and we were able to get them new DVDs. So that's the first thing you want to do, is about a month in advance or sooner than that. Pop in the DVD, make sure they work. Number two, you want to make sure that you have plenty of study guides, right? So count the number of study guides, make sure you are given enough. Third thing you want to do is you want to make sure you are given the correct study guides, because there may or may not have been a small groups pastor that has purchased the wrong study guides for a group. Just something to think about. Myself was that small groups pastor, okay? Then you want to check the DVD and adjust the zoom on your TV, right? Because with these studies, it'll have Chip Ingram doing the teaching kind of in the middle of the screen, and then at the bottom, they'll give you the fill-in-the-blank notes you want for the study guide. But if you have your TV zoomed in to where the picture gets big, you know, and you can see things bigger, it'll push that text down below the TV and you won't be able to read it. So you want to watch the DVD until you can start to see some of that text coming in at the bottom and make sure that it shows up like it should. And if you might have to adjust it, read your manual or play around with your TV and then bump it back and adjust it, okay? So that's something you want to do. Lastly, you want to make sure that you read the small group leader resources on page 73 to page 96. Back there, they have some great tips and helps back here that you want to think about for your small group and plan out. What are you going to do about snacks? What are you going to do about childcare? What are you going to do about prayer requests? Things like that. How are you going to format your group? Who's going to communicate with everybody each week? How are you going to handle prayer requests? Things like that. So make sure you take some time and read through it. Pages 73 to 96. That's the small group leader resources for this study. Okay. So that's what you want to do about a month before your group even begins, okay? Now I want to talk to you about what you want to do each week to prepare to facilitate your small group, okay? So the first thing you want to do each week to prepare to facilitate your small group is you want to pop in the DVD and watch it, right? You can have it going while you cook or change the oil on the car, whatever that might be, but watch it and try to fill in the blanks so you get a feel for the content that week and what's going to be covered. Then you want to look through the notes that are in the back of the study guide. So on pages 79 to 84, each lesson, Chip Ingram and the guys are going to give you a few paragraphs about this lesson, what to be aware of, what you want to shoot for, maybe some facilitation tips and some ideas to really help you facilitate a good discussion and get the people applying the materials to their life, okay? Then you're going to want to watch some of the coaching videos, right? So Lance Witt and Chip Ingram produce about a 2 to 4 minute video for each lesson that's online. I'll put a link down there in the description that you want to watch each week before you facilitate. And they're going to just give you some basic tips. They're going to say, hey, beware of this, watch for this, do this in your small group, right? So that's something you want to do each week to facilitate a good small group meeting. Next, I want to talk to you about how to format your small group, okay? How do you format your small group? So there's 3 basic elements you want to make sure is part of every single small group that you do, right? First thing you want to do is start with the unifying question in your small group. So the unifying question is something my senior pastor has taught me to have our groups do, where basically the facilitator starts out the group by saying, what did you all learn, take away from, or what do you remember from the sermon? What did you learn from the message at church over the weekend? And we want to do the unifying question for 3 reasons. Number 1, we never want a small group to replace a Sunday, church service, right? So we want people to be growing by attending a church on the weekend and also by being in a small group. They're two different environments. People grow in different ways, and that's something we don't want small groups to replace big church on the weekend. Second reason is you might have your small group might meet on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Friday. By those days, they might have forgotten what the sermon was even on Sunday. So we want to remind them about the things they learned and how they should be applying it to their lives, okay? The third reason we want to do the unifying question is because you'll be surprised how many times something is said during the message at church on the weekend that applies directly to the material that you're going to cover. So that's kind of a cool way that helps you tie in the message to the study that you're doing, okay? So additionally, in addition to those three elements, you're going to want to do maybe have some snacks or dessert and do prayer requests. You can do that at the beginning or at the end or split them. Doesn't really matter as long as you have those three elements in the middle that are consistent. And you just want to be consistent with whatever process you choose for the 3 and the 2, okay? In the Spiritual Simplicity Study Guide, they have a 4th section, right? So what you want to do, I talked about doing the unifying question. That's the first thing you want to do. Then you want to play the DVD so that everybody can watch it. Then you want to work through the questions, right? There's 7 questions for each lesson. Go ahead and work through those questions and talk about them in the group. And the Chip Ingram material, they organize their questions under 3 headings, right? And they call it BIO. BIO stands for Come Before God Daily. We meet with God through word and prayer to enjoy His presence, receive His direction, and follow His will, right? This is kind of that vertical relationship. So these are questions that talk about the vertical relationship between us and God. Then there's the I, which stands for doing life in community, right? We want to structure our week to personally connect in safe relationships that provide love, support, transparency, challenge, and accountability. This is kind of those horizontal relationships with people that we're close to and we're growing in our Christian walk with. And then the O stands for Be on Mission 24/7, which talks about cultivating a mindset to live out Jesus' love for others through acts of service, as well as service at home, work, play, and church, right? So that's BIO. Come before God daily, do life in community, that's the I, and then be on mission 24/7. On mission, O is the BIO, right? So you'll see the questions kind of categorized in those 3 different ways. And then additionally, the Spiritual Simplicity has what they call an accelerate section at the end of each lesson. This is a 20-minute kind of devotion that someone can take home and do on their own or do with someone in their house or some of their friends, right? So it's a way to really get the person to take that material home with them away from the small group and continually grow along with that topic and take the topic deeper, right? So some groups, I know one group likes to do the accelerate in their group just the next week, right? So one week they'll do the unifying question, watch the DVD, do the talk it out sections, and then the next week they'll just do the accelerate section. They won't watch any more or anything like that. They'll do the unifying question and then the accelerate as a way to take the material deeper. The only thing you have to be aware of with that is it's going to double the length of time of your study, right? So Spiritual Simplicity is 8 weeks long. It's going to be doubled to 16 weeks long if you choose to do the accelerate in your small group, okay? So that's how you want to format your small group. Next, I want to talk to you about the Spiritual Simplicity material, right? So Spiritual Simplicity is a great study. Spiritual Simplicity, doing less, loving more. And it basically is just about how we make sure we're honoring and loving God and our family through the things we do. It's really easy to get super busy and tied into a lot of things, and then we wonder, what am I doing this all for? What does it matter? Spiritual Simplicity is just that. It's kind of narrowing our focus to focus on God and make sure what we're doing matters to God and to others, right? The primary passage for this study is 1 Corinthians 13, which a lot of us know is the love chapter that we hear read at weddings or things like that. But Chip Ingram correctly teaches us in this study that it's not necessarily talking about marriage, it's talking about love for everyone. Our family, friends, God, all that. It's not a marriage passage, it's about anything. Okay? And this study is great for people that are really, really busy, that have a lot going on, have a family, that are young, really busy with their career. It's great for those people. It's also great for people that are about to retire or who have just retired, and now they have to figure out, what do I do with this new time that I have? Do I go, travel in a motorhome all day long? Do I go fishing every single day? What do I do with my time? That's who this study is great for. It's 8 weeks long, okay? So you got to kind of plan out your fall semester, your spring semester, your winter semester, whatever that might be. It's 8 sessions long. And then as you're coming to the end of the study, I encourage you to look in the back, pages 93 to 96. There's some other studies. I think there's about 20 other studies they list in there by Chip Ingram. So be praying with your group as you're working through it and thinking about what you might like to do next as your study. My name's Christopher Scott. I hope this has been a helpful video for you to use the Spiritual Simplicity DVD study and study guide in a small group to help people grow in their walk with Christ. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you below. Feel free to leave a comment and I'll get back to you, or other people in the community can respond to you as well. If you like this video and want to get updates on future videos, you can subscribe up there. If you want to find out other DVD studies from Chip Ingram and learn about those, I have some other videos up there. If you want to learn some small group facilitation tips, you can find those down here. And I'd love to share with you some 5-minute introductions to books of the Bible down here. Thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you again in another video.